My name is Lars Bendix. I come from computer science at Malmö University. And since I'm an academic, then I use slides with background and white text, since it has been scientifically proven that that is easier to read than black text on white background. Actually, I also have just one slide, because it has also been scientifically proven that people suck at multitasking. And I don't want you to read, I want you to listen to my words. Another reason for having only one slide is that I came after Nicholas, and I was doing a presentation that was a little bit on the same topic, and not knowing how his presentation was, having just one slide keeps it much more agile. So, what am I doing? Well, I'm doing teaching and research in configuration management. I run a tribe of people interested in configuration management, and we have a gathering in exactly 4 weeks from now, and there's at least one person here in the audience that will also take part in that gathering, and I'm really looking forward to that. But that's not why I came today. I came today because I'm also enjoying sometimes being agile. 25 years ago, I spent almost 5 years in Italy, and it was really a thrill for me to combine the Italian flexibility with the Danish discipline. And about 15 years ago, I got a name for that. So, Italian flexibility plus Danish discipline equals agile, because that's what agile is all about. Now, what I really want to talk about today is how we use agile in the teaching at Malmö University. So, introducing agile methods, using agile methods in the teaching of our students. So, we have 2 courses, a course where they use agile methods to produce a product, trying to get into the agile mentality. And then we have a coaching course where we educate coaches that can help the students on their projects. We are actually pretty successful, and Nicholas is the prime example of what we can produce with this. So I want to brag about it, I want to share my good experience with you, but unfortunately, not all our students turn out like Nicholas. So I also came here to try to learn something today. Now, before coming to university in 2001, I was at Aalborg University in Denmark. And I was headhunted there for 2 reasons. One reason was the configuration management, which I will talk more about today. And the other one was because Aalborg University is known for its pedagogical methods, problem-based learning, and doing projects. In 5 years of study, our students do 11 projects, 1 each term. And in the beginning, they do a 3-week project, and then after that, they do another project for the rest of the term. And I was a little puzzled in the beginning for why this was, but well, there must be a reason, and so on. 1 year, some Dutch people came to study the model that we were using, and they were asking me, why do you have this 3-week project at the beginning instead of having it for 1 month? And well, I mean, I didn't want to admit that I didn't really know. So I started explaining why there was a reason, and then it dawned on me that Fred Brooks already told me why we had this. The method of Manma, he says, plan to throw one away. And instead of wasting 5 months on the first project, which will be a complete fuck up, then we wasted only 3 weeks with our students. And that's more or less the philosophy that we also use on this agile setup that we have. In 7 weeks, we run 6 iterations with the students. The first iteration is, well, learning. You do a lot of mistakes, and you throw it away, and then we do another iteration. You do a little bit less mistakes. Well, you do a release that is fucked up, so you throw that away, and so on. So we have six iterations where people can gradually learn. And that actually also combines very well with the pedagogical model that they have at Aalborg University, which is based on Cobb's learning cycle. You do something, you observe the outcome of what you're doing, reflect on what went well, what went wrong, you plan how you can counter things that went wrong, and how you can keep things that went well. Then you do something more, then you observe, you reflect, you plan, you do, you observe, you reflect, and you plan. And we push our students through 6 cycles of this. Now, we need some coaches. So we have a coaching course, and then we have this course where students have to do these agile methods. We do some course, and we do some praxis. So there's some theory and then some praxis. Theory without praxis, well, that's just hot air. Praxis without theory, well, that's a little bit like training a monkey. So after you have trained the monkey can do exactly this and nothing else. We want to do a little bit more. So we have the course part and then the practice part. This practice part, each iteration lasts for a week for university schedule reasons. So we start by a planning game together with the customer, where they discuss what stories should be implemented in the next cycle. And then after that, the students have 4 hours where they can do individual things, preparing for the programming session that they have on Monday morning, where they sit all together, team in one room. So we use Scrum in 5 minutes from Solcloud on the coaching course, even though we do extreme programming, because there are things in Scrum that are similar and you can be inspired by, and then it's easier to convince students to read this than to take out a book like that and read that. Then they sit down, team in one room, from 8 o'clock in the morning until 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and then they program, and they try to do all the things that they're supposed to do in extreme programming. They, at the end, most of the teams are quite successful, and they run very smoothly. I've been a customer for some years in these, and I tell the students in the course part, I really enjoy being a customer. Go down to the computer labs during the first iteration and look at the chaos and panic. And also on the afternoon on the second iteration, when they have to do their first release. I mean, you can cut the air with a knife from the panic that is there. There are some things that you should try to do if you want to mirror our approach. One thing is that you should try to do like my old driving teacher. He was really a jävla danska. So when I was doing my truck driving license, so when you came back from the 45-minute lesson with him, you were soaked with sweat and you were wasted because he was pressing you. And when I'm a customer, I press my team. I ask for a release now and say, no, we can't do it. Why can't you do it? Well, actually, we have read in the repository. Why do we have read in the repository? Sometimes customers want that. I said, well, I want to have it now. No, we can't do that. No one can do that. So, well, the other team over there can do it in 28 seconds. Well, I'm also a Java dancer, so I have absolutely no problem in lying. Actually, that it has happened one time that it was able to release in 28 seconds. Then they also make the process. And when they say, well, it takes 2 hours, and I tell them that it can be done in 28 seconds, and say, oh yeah, some of the teams tell us how to do it. Some really important things that we learned along the way is that these planning games, in the beginning, was mostly like the customer discussing the stories with the students. Now it's like 2/3 of the time that the students spend on reflecting on what happened and how we can improve that. Another thing that we discovered is that you really have to have a setup for the course and not just throw people off the deep end and say, well, oh yeah, you can go ahead and do extreme programming, Scrum, or whatever. You need to support them. And then you have to do it the right way, otherwise you will suffer. We experienced that since we cannot have 10 customers with 10 teams, so each customer services 3 teams, and then we suffer by not having customers on site. I can see that someone is trying to push me off the stage. If you want to know more, then we can probably put together another space. And if you have some suggestions for how we can do better, then I'd love to